Hey, this is JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It is July 15th, 2024. For all my new followers out there, welcome aboard. Give you a slight rundown on what we do here. We look at a close look at the weather for the Central Mountain area. Lately, I've been doing a lot of fire updates, but that's not where this channel is born from. It's just giving us a little closer look into our neck of the woods on what's going on with the weather. So I start out with the general overview and then start getting deeper and deeper as you carry on with the video. So if you make it to the end to kind of get into a lot of more science and geeking out on weather maps. All right. And this is fully volunteer, so if you are willing to donate some money, even a monthly subscription, there's been people donating a lot recently with the fire. Really appreciate y'all for doing that. Keep up the good work. It keeps fuel in my fire and keeps me going with it. So today, partly sunny. We are going to have fire smoke in the area to start out the day, and that should get pushed out through the day as those inversions lift and get the winds push out that stagnant, smoky air. We are going to have the best chance for isolated rain and thunder showers this afternoon. That looks like it's going to be in the Ketchum to Haley-Bellevue area in the Wood River Valley. Highs are going to be in the upper 80s with zonal flow overhead, making us have mostly westerly winds and be a little bit lighter than yesterday. Tomorrow's going to be mostly sunny with, again, fire smoke and then very, very isolated rain showers. Looks like we might have mostly virga moisture that evaporates before it hits the ground. Temperatures are going to come back into the lower 90s with the upper level ridge. That means good weather is going to come back into place with west-northwest winds. For the rest of the week, we're going to be in the lower 90s. So not as hot as last week, but certainly not cool either. So that high pressure rebounds, and we're back in that game. Looking around at morning temperatures, we are in the 60s in the Wood River Valley and the lower 50s in the Stanley side. All right, looking at satellite, we still have monsoonal moisture coming through the area with a slight southwest flow look. That is going to shift more towards a westerly zonal flow, so that is just from west to east, and just kind of flatten that ridge a little bit. So that's why we're going to have cooler weather today. Cooler is a little bit of an understatement because it's still 5 degrees above normal. Just cooler compared to how it's normally been. We are not in a red flag area. It is over to our right today, and I think that's mostly for thunder showers. Our relative humidity is going to be higher today, and the winds are going to be lower, so that should help with fire suppression. Speaking of fires, let's look at the Stanley webcam. There is a little bit of smoke, not as smoky as yesterday morning, so that's a good thing. But looking at the redfish camera, you can see overnight the fire crept down over from the Bench Lake Trail down the moraine towards the lake. It is going to dead end at the lake, but it's moving further down towards redfish, even more so than last night when I was looking at it. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the fire this morning, but a quick little update. I drew in this little patch to the right here to kind of show that evening activity. You can go back to yesterday for a full kind of update on what happened yesterday. I'll give another update tonight probably. So fire's still burning and is getting ever so closer to Redfish Lodge, which they do have about 6 engines ready to fight the fire there. Let's see where we are now. We're about 1.5 miles, so gained about a little less than half a mile overnight. All right, looking at the smoke, you can see we're starting out the morning, fairly smoky skies, and that's going to clear, real smoky, and that's going to clear as the day progresses, and those winds blow out the smoke. So every night, basically, with these high pressure, all the cool air sinks into the valley floor. With that cool air, the smoke settles, and then winds pick up ever so slightly during the day and blow out that smoke. Most of our smoke is coming from locally in Stanley, of course, the Bench Lake fire, but also a lot of it's coming from these 2 fires in Oregon. Our smoke quality hasn't deteriorated too much, though. We're still staying in the yellow. In Ketchum, we're at 58. Some of the personal weather stations in Stanley area are just barely in the 60. That's pretty good as far as smoke. Could be a lot worse. Some areas are in the orange and red to our west. Looking at afternoon thunder shower activity, looking at the HER forecast right now. So it starts popping up right around 2 or 3. You can start to see some cells moving across the Wood River Valley. Those will pick up steam the further they go over into the Pioneers with some orographic lift, triggering off some thunder showers into the early evening. So most of the activity does look like it's on the Wood River side. That'll be good for fire suppression to the north. And then tomorrow, even lower chances of getting some. There's a little bit of a rogue rainstorm there near the Galena Pass area. And then a couple of little storms, looks like they might be in the Redfish vicinity, but those are so small that they're not going to be really a wetting storm. They're going to be less than 1/10 of an inch. Thunder forecast for today, lightning, any new fire starts that show up. The IC did say that they would do initial attack on them if they're in the area. So it's good to have that team as a resource in our zone. You can see 10 to 20% chance here across mostly Galena Pass into the Pioneers and Boulders. And that's where most of the rain is going to fall today. And you can see it's not really a lot of rain. If we get a couple of those storms, could be 1/4 of an inch. Pretty isolated. It's mostly looks like it's over into the Copper Basin, White Knob area. Looking at the MBM forecast for Sun Valley Airport, we're going to be flat lines this week in the 90s. We do have a chance of thunder showers kind of for later in the week. It's all remains below 15% though. It's pretty low. It'll look kind of similar to that forecast I just showed you on the HER. Bench Lake forecast. 75 today, coolest day. That'll be good. Nice weather for the hotshot crews working up there. I imagine it maybe makes it a little cooler. I don't know when it's that close to the fire line. And then we kind of creep up into the upper 70s again. Does look like Wednesday there's a 24% chance of some rain with a little trough coming through. The winds today are going to be gusting up to 20, so that is not great. And I think they're going to be mostly out of the northwest, maybe west-northwest. All right, looking at the 500 millibar chart, if you're still with me, this gives us an overall flow of weather, of what it's doing. Kind of big picture weather, if you will. So we have a ridge of high pressure. Whenever you have an upside down U, that's bringing mostly good weather. But you can see this little purple here, that's energy, that is a little bit of monsoonal air that's still in the area. And that'll come through on Wednesday. That's that chance of rain I was talking about before in the Sawtooths. And that high pressure mostly is sitting over the Four Corners like it was last week. It's just not as prevalent, pushing our heat into a heat advisory category. All right, that's all I got for today. check back this evening.